All right, and we're live. So welcome back to Dapp University. So today we're going to talk about some news that's going to be huge for crypto and look at a lot of other news updates that have happened in the space since yesterday, answer some of your questions, check on the cryptocurrency markets, and a lot more. So if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory, and on this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. If that's something that you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to learn how to master blockchain step-by-step start to finish, then head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to get started today. Last but not least, I think I've seen this video. It's not be financial advice, and there's lots of scammers down in the comment section below. Just ignore them, like I'll never give you my phone number or ask you to invest with me. So we got people jumping in the chat here. We've got Automatic Beats, Culturized, Code Chap, Camille Francis, ENIAC, hope I'm saying that right, THX Like This. Some of these names are kind of funny. Let's go ahead and get into this. All right, so let's talk about something that's going to be major for crypto, okay? Assuming that this plays out like we think it's going to with the news that we see here today. So, mass adoption of cryptocurrency has been an absolute grind. Okay, we're not even there yet, right? But this is the promise where basically, crypto can expand into the masses and the households of, pretty much a huge percentage of people across the world. Like, think about your relatives, everybody you know using crypto in some way, all right? Now, they may not necessarily know they're using crypto or blockchain, but that's the vision of mass adoption. And we've seen lots of things over this past, year, 2 years. We've been really seeing a lot of this development happen where this happens bit by bit. Some critical piece gets built and we hear some major announcement about something else that makes it possible. And you get all these things adding up together that can make this, grind that we've been on, this treadmill, actually take us to the hallowed land of mass adoption of blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies. And today we have something else that can be another link in that chain that can help drag us to that. So what is it? Well, we saw some news come out yesterday about how U.S. regulators are exploring how banks could hold crypto assets. This is from the FDIC chairman. Okay, so this is a big deal, all right, because if you're not familiar with the FDIC, you might have heard of FDIC deposit insurance. So basically, if you're in the United States and you have a bank account, there's a certain amount of money that is insured by the FDIC. Basically, if anything ever happened from the bank, basically like if there's a bank run or something ever happened to your money, like it would be insured and you would have recourse in that situation and could get those funds back. Okay. That's what FDIC, that's the main thing people think of when they think of FDIC, is that type of deposit insurance. So Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. And now that, and they're basically responsible for how do we give people guidelines on how to store people's cash in banks. Well, they're looking at how do we actually, how do we put guidelines on how people can hold crypto assets in banks, okay? Because they're taking this very seriously. They're saying the adoption of cryptocurrency and saying, okay, if you have a regular bank like Bank of America, Wells Fargo, whatever it is, and you want to hold some crypto, I don't know exactly which cryptos it is. I don't know if it's just stable coins. I don't know if it's Bitcoin, if it's Ether. We don't have clarity on that based on this news. But if you want them to hold your cryptocurrency, what's that going to look like? Okay. Now, I know a lot of people watching this say, hey, we got to crypto get away from banks. We don't want this, right? I totally understand that. I totally get that and resonate with that. But I do think if crypto is going to actually see mass adoption, see this long tail, spread throughout, a majority of the number of people who actually spend money in the entire world, then custody services that are familiar to people and that people feel comfortable with and trust really are a must. I mean, it's just not going to happen. Like, we're not going to have everybody in the entire world self-custody cryptocurrency assets, okay? We will have custodians, I feel, in the long term, okay? Really what you want at the end of the day is people to have the option of what they want to do. Do they want to self-custody their funds? Just like if you wanted to take your life savings and hold it in gold bars, right? You could do that, right? Or do you want to, trust somebody else to hold on your money like this? I mean, people are already doing this by keeping their coins on cryptocurrency exchanges, right? That's a huge number of people who hold crypto who do that already. So this will be huge, all right? because we're already seeing more things like payment networks saying, hey, like we saw yesterday, MasterCard having a network of allowing people to integrate cryptocurrency into their products. More and more people are allowing you to buy and sell cryptocurrency from traditional payment worlds. And this layer of traditional banking in the equation and allowing people to self-custody crypto assets is huge. So this is the kind of thing, if I know some people, I say this a lot nowadays whenever we see these kind of big breakthroughs coming down the pike with the news. I say this a lot because if you're new to crypto, you're new to Web3 as of this year or maybe even the last 12 months or something like that, this might seem kind of commonplace to you to see these major developments happening all the time, but I guarantee you it has not always been this way, and it will not always be this way. Okay, you're witnessing a time where we're seeing a parabolic trend in adoption take off, and when you see these major factors start to happen sooner and sooner and sooner. Like it used to be, oh, here's some major thing that happens every year and 6 months and then 3 months, and the frequency of these major breakthroughs is decreasing or is increasing. The frequency is increasing. The time in between each major breakthrough is decreasing. That's an indication of a parabolic trend from a fundamental adoption standpoint. Okay, and that won't last forever. Okay, and it has not always been that way. So that's why it's really important to pay attention. So another example of this. Now, this is not as consequential as storing cryptocurrency funds on a traditional bank as a normal customer. But this is another example of adoption and seeing this, crypto Web3 really taking off is this news article I saw come out yesterday, which is Photoshop, all right, the graphics giant, will get a prepare as NFT option soon. Okay. So basically, you can take your digital artworks and do some sort of routine. I'm not a Photoshop wizard, so I'm just going to kind of pretend like I understand this. But basically, here's what my take on it is. Basically, you could take your digital artwork and run some sort of routine on it, some sort of script, some action inside the application that basically takes your artwork and chops it up maybe into layers or I don't exactly know. But basically, at the end of the day, it prepares it so that you can deliver it as an NFT. Now, one thing I do know is that you can also, is that it will have metadata associated with it that can be stored on IPFS, okay? So let me just show you that other source so you can see how that works. Okay, so basically, according to the interview with the chief product officer, this functionality will be built into Photoshop with a prepares NFT option launching in preview by the end of this month. It says the attribution data created by the content credentials will live on IPFS system. So that's pretty cool. It'll actually have IPFS integration for the actual NFTs themselves. Okay. So I don't have all the details on this, but this is an example of graphics giant taking NFTs very seriously. Another example of another link in the chain towards mass adoption. Okay, so let's look at what's happening with the ETH2 roadmap, because I've actually got a video coming out pretty soon talking about ETH2 because I get lots of frequently asked questions about this. But we do have a brief update on the progress of ETH2 and where it's kind of headed. So Ethereum 2.0 inches closer with the Beacon Chains Altair upgrade. Okay, so we did actually have this take place. Let's just see here. So let's see here. So Altair is an update to the Beacon chain that brings support for light clients, pre-validator, and activity leak accounting, rise and slashing severities, basically all these features, allowing for simplified state management. This first scheduled upgrade to the Beacon chain. So basically, this is the first implementation that's going to go live before we actually hit the merge. Okay, so now that this update is basically finished, the next major thing on the roadmap is going to be the merge. Okay, So we just don't have any updated clarity on exactly when it's going to happen. I really don't think it's going to be in 2021. All right, it's going to be in 2022. Just not going to be in 2023. It'll be in 2022. The best estimates right now are Q1. We'll wait and see. We do have an update here from, let's see here, Tim Bako, who I follow, who's, leading the charge on a lot of this stuff. So basically, a bit later than he has an update, all core devs update. You can never go read this, okay? So if you want to learn more about what they're doing, to actually push the upgrades, you can read through this. All right, I'll put a link in the chat or in the live chat replay. So some quick updates. So Arrow Glacier, the upgrade, pushing back the difficulty bomb. This is what basically makes Ethereum mining impossible. Is happening on block 13 million, et cetera, is scheduled for December 8th. Okay. So that's going to be another upgrade. That block is going to be much later. So the rest of the post covers the post-merge client architecture, what's going to happen basically with the merge. And if you want to stay on top of this, you can definitely check out the article that I posted in the chat there. Okay, so speaking of ETH2, so in case you're all wondering, I'll give you a little preview about what we're talking about in that video, because these are frequently asked questions. So with ETH2, the next major thing on the roadmap is the merge. So right now, if you're using Ethereum today, you're using Ethereum 1.0, okay? Ethereum 2.0 is kind of live right now in its very infant form. As the beacon chain, it's a separate blockchain that's set up right now with proof of stake kind of turned on. Basically, you can migrate your ETH from ETH 1.0 to ETH 2.0, but it stays locked up in this environment. You can't do anything with it. Pretty much all you can do is stake and validate transactions, okay? And the next major event on that roadmap is to merge this blockchain back into the blockchain that we use now. That's what the merge is, okay? And that's when proof of stake will go live, and all the ETH that's currently locked up will be available. Now, some people think that's going to have massive sell pressure on the price of, ETH. It might, but that's the next major event. Now, a couple things to watch out for. So one is the amount of ETH staked in the Ethereum 2.0 contract recently surpassed the 8 million mark. Not $8 million, 8 million Ether. Okay. So now 8.02 million ETH with an aggregate value of $33.3 billion. That's pretty crazy. So if you take that, see 8 million ETH. It's a lot. Sorry, I was looking at a number over here. So the other big thing to watch out for with the merge is that's the point at which ETH actually becomes deflationary, okay? Because we've had EIP 1559 happen, right? We're now burning ETH whenever new transactions are created. Anytime I trade on a DEX, buy NFT, send a token around, send you Ether, et cetera, et cetera. ETH gets burnt from the network. Now, ETH is creating, the blockchain itself is creating new Ether anytime a new transaction is included into, anytime a block is mined. But so it's offsetting that. And so we have decreased the inflation on Ethereum right now. But when we actually merge and go to proof of stake, that's when ETH actually becomes deflationary because the ETH issuance drops significantly. So you can see the blockchain is currently creating 5.4 million ETH per year. And if the same level of network activity we're going on right now post-merge, then basically the blockchain would only be issuing 0.4 million ETH per year, and it would be 2% deflationary on an annual basis at the current usage rate and the current ETH supply. Now, this ratio will change because, this number here is changing. This number is fixed, and this number is variable, and the supply will keep decreasing. And some people say, hey, what happens if all the ETH gets burned? Well, you can do some math here. So that would basically mean like 1.4 million ETH about no, sorry, 2.4 million ETH per year. Getting it would take a very long time. And also, don't forget, like the amount of transactions happening on the base blockchain will likely decrease significantly with L2 adoption. So that's layer 2 technologies. So what about Lightning Network and Taproot? So go check out the video I just put out recently about Lightning Network, or sorry, about Taproot. I mentioned Lightning Network a little bit in there, but that'll give you my full thoughts on that. Okay, so somebody's saying somebody says Shib already done a Doge. I know one guy that's made $1 million from $100. Spot. I can't. I haven't done the math off the top of my head, but it sounds plausible with what Shiba has done. Let's go ahead and check on the markets here. So the crazy thing is, Shiba and Doge combined. I think I saw a tweet come out recently that said Shiba and Doge combined, the market cap is eclipsed like all of DeFi's market cap. It's pretty crazy. So let's see here. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Shiba's going crazy. Let's look back on a 180-day basis. Yeah, I mean, was it close to 2x all-time high from where we were? It's so hard to do math on Shiba because like all the zeros, it's like it's hard to parse out the prefix. So like when I look at it, it's hard to tell if it's like doubled or what. So it's, I mean, judging from the graph, it's about double. But like if you're looking at longer time frames, like, and you compare this to this, it's really hard to visually reference what the increase is. And so like I can't just quickly read how many zeros are before that 67605 up to this 3532, right? It's really hard to tell. I get it's unit bias because basically what happens is new people buy cryptocurrency and they say, oh, what happens if this goes to $1? You know what I mean? Like Bitcoin's $65,000 and Shiba's like the smallest fraction of a cent. That's what happens. It's an intentional choice. Okay, so let's look at what's going on with the rest of the overall crypto markets. So basically, you know, Bitcoin are back below $60,000. ETH is back down to about $4,000. I know some people are like, hey, we were supposed to moon, right? Like instantly. Not necessarily. I've been saying this for a couple of days now. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some resistance, some choppiness, correction. It might even dip a little bit from here. In big picture, like nothing has changed. I still see us, you know, making new all-time highs and kind of entering the price discovery relatively soon in the grand scheme of things. We have to wait a little while, but this is a time I believe whenever patience is rewarded. So this is not financial advice. That's just what I am doing personally, and that's how I view the marketplace. So yeah. I mean, I can sit here and draw a bunch of stuff and say, oh, it's only going to go this low. Nobody knows for sure. I just don't. I don't think this. I've seen some people say like, "Oh, we're at a double top, right? Like we've hit the second top, and now we're entering to a multi-year bear market." I really just don't think so. I mean, Bitcoin was gobbled up at this price level. If it goes back to this price level again, it's going to get gobbled up again. People are hungry for the gains, especially when you see FDIC talking about how banks can custody crypto assets. You get Bitcoin ETFs, all this stuff. It's strong. Let's actually look at the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index to see where we are right now. So even at this price level, we're still firmly in the greed territory for social sentiment perspective. So 73, it's about what it was yesterday. 73, 76 when it was at $60,000. I mean, we got up to pretty high levels of extreme greed there. And when we get to those levels, it doesn't stay that way very long. So the way you think about this is, whenever we see these kinds of corrections, it gives us more headroom to make higher highs in Bitcoin, because you don't want everything to go up in a straight line too fast, because that's probably when you're going to correct hard. We can check on some of our on-chain metrics. So in Nupal terms, basically we are at, let's see here, 0.63, 0.62. Okay, so we're making a little more headroom in terms of the frothiness in the marketplace. So that's good. Okay, so another thing that I saw yesterday that's kind of got people a little worked up is actually, let's see here. Let me see if I can pull it up. Telegram launching an ad platform. Okay, so it's text only posts, no line breaks allowed, no external links. All right, so they have a minimum CPM, minimum budget is quite big, with a pretty large amount retained by Telegram if you don't spend at least this much per year. All right, so that's absolutely crazy. So I see some people getting worked about this because they just think it's going to lead to like a bunch of scams. Like you see this problem a lot with Google ads. Like Google is kind of notorious for, having search, things appear in the search engine results page when they're paid for with Google Google ads, basically just to have like fake websites appear at the top. So like if you search for Uniswap or something like that, maybe like a scammer comes in and buys an ad to place a fake Uniswap link at the top, and then you click on it and you try to do a transaction and it cleans out your wallet. Okay. This kind of stuff happens. I mean, it's not really funny if it happens to you, but like that's what happens. Okay. And that's what I think people are worried about a similar type of thing happening with Telegram, because, Telegram's huge for crypto. There's lots of scammers on Telegram already. And this just basically gives them a massive lever to pull scams off at scale. I think that's what people are worried about. Now, of course, they can be used effectively, just like every tool, but will not be without consequence. At least that's a lot of people think. We'll have to wait and see. Let's see here. So somebody's asking about, so I don't know about every single NFT project. Somebody's asking me an opinion about a specific one. There's so many NFT projects, it's impossible to keep up everything. But while we're on the topic of NFTs, don't forget to register for the NFT Masterclass. We're going to hold that next Thursday, November 4th, I believe, whatever the date next Thursday is. We're actually going to do a generative NFT drop. I'm going to do it live, show you how to do it step by step. So I'll put a link in the description down below. It won't be there right now, but you can find it after the live stream. And actually, Oscar, if you're watching this video, if you could put that link down there, that would be awesome. So do I think ETH can hit 100K and win? This would be an interesting thought experiment here. So let's actually do it as a thought experiment. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. You've probably seen that meme. So let's just do some math, okay? So basically right now, ETH's market cap, oh, sorry, I had Bitcoin's market cap pulled up and I was like, that's not ETH's market cap. Okay, so ETH's market cap right now is about half a trillion dollars, just roughly speaking. Okay, so it's $476 billion. So, and it's at $4,000 per coin. So if ETH were to hit $100,000 divided by the circulating supply, we'll just use that number, 118,098,995. Okay. Oops, sorry, hold on. Let me just, I'm trying to copy the number here. I got the number slightly wrong, so basically, I'm trying to show you what the market cap would be. $100,000 times this number, sorry. So basically, like if ETH were to hit $10,000, okay, I'm not gonna sit here and do it. I'm not gonna do it on the calculator because it's kind of giving me issues. For whatever reason, this calculator is not like for me to do numbers live. Basically, if ETH hits $10,000 per coin, it's gonna be about worth $1 trillion. We'll just use that as rough math, okay? So let's just kind of reason through this for a second, okay? So it'd be worth about $1 trillion if ETH hits 10K. If ETH hit 100K, ETH would be worth about $10 trillion. So just let's talk about, for rough comparison, what else is worth trillions of dollars in the world? Okay, so if you look at Apple market cap, right? The market cap of Apple computers, let's see if I can, if it'll actually tell me. I want to get the exact number off the top of my head. So $2.45 trillion is the market cap of Apple. All right, so what is the market cap of something like Amazon, for example? Okay. $1.71 trillion. Actually, that seems lower. Let's just assume it's right, okay? So anyways, these things are about $2 trillion. So the question is, can ETH in time be worth, what a lot of these platforms are combined together? I think it can, okay? Because ETH ultimately is a platform. It's a network. So it's more analogous to the internet that these things themselves are built on. So in time, if you have, protocols that are, you could have protocols that are worth $1 trillion in time, okay? And so the thing that those things are built on stands to reason could be $10 trillion. Now, let's talk about when, okay? So part of the value here of understanding if it's possible is when that could happen. So would it be in, our lifetime, assuming that you're somewhere between the age of 20 and 40? All right, let's just use a rough time range here. So, let's just say in the next 20 years. I think it can, okay? And so let's think about it in terms of crypto cycles. So let's just assume that cryptocurrency continues to move in these roughly 4-year cycles. There's no guarantee that's going to happen. I kind of think that we might not be in those types of cycles forever, maybe not even anymore. Nobody knows for sure. But let's assume we have a major blow off top and then a long correction, and then we resume another cycle. A lot of people anticipate that cycle peak will be about $10 trillion. Okay, so that would be what we're hoping for the market cap of ETH to actually hit. So we're not going to happen this cycle, clearly, if those numbers are even close to true. So what that leads to the next question. Could it be the following cycle after that? Well, let's look at the overall cryptocurrency market cap. What is done over many years, and we can say the last cycle peak, cryptocurrency topped out at, about $750 billion. Okay. Now let's say it goes to, $10 trillion. Okay. So let's say that was roughly a 15x like a 13x. I'm just doing rough math off my. Let's say it's like a 13x increase in the next cycle peak versus the previous cycle peak. Let's assume we do it again, and you have diminishing returns. So would it be? Let's see. Would the entire crypto market cap, would it 5x? Would it 7x? The next time through. So it seems like if it were to hit $10 trillion, assuming that we follow the same diminishing returns pattern over time, it may not even happen the next market cycle in and of itself. We'll have to wait and see. Now, there's another theory out there that basically says that a lot of these crypto assets follow very similar trajectories in terms of network effects, and the prices pretty closely mirror previous cycles. A lot of people looking for a $20,000 per Ether based upon ETH's trajectory from Bitcoin's last market cycle. And if that were to hold true, and Bitcoin actually does go past $100,000 per coin this market cycle, and we do a similar type of thing over next market cycle, then ETH could do that. Now, there's a lot of assumptions in all that, right? A lot of assumptions, a lot of things that could be wrong. But that's just an example of how you can think through these questions yourself of, can ETH hit $100,000 per coin? Nobody knows for sure, but that's exactly how you try to reason through it to create your own thesis. Somebody says, for exact math, 100K is exactly 11.6 trillion FYI. Somebody says, we'll be cracking open that whiskey if hit 10K ETH this cycle. Not in the morning. It's already open. It's not already open today. It's has been open for a long time. Put it that way. Is it possible ETH's market cap can take over Bitcoin's market cap? I really do think that it can. Now, the question is when. I don't know that it's going to, like, this cycle, assuming that we're still in these cycles. When I say that, I don't think it's going to happen the next 6 to 9 months or something like that, 3 to 9 months. If it did, it would probably just be temporary. I mean, crypto by nature is volatile. It's volatile in every respect. It's volatile in adoption. It's volatile in price. It's volatile in, just progress. Cryptocurrency prices go up and down. Adoption and progress and adoption happen in these big leaps. It gets really exciting and then boring for a long time. It's all very stochastic, very volatile. Okay, so a similar type of thing. If Bitcoin were on this, if Ether on this trajectory of flipping Bitcoin, I would see it doing it and then losing that standing for a while, maybe even going back, just like kind of hovering for a while before it actually, confidently passes it. All right, so great questions. That's all I got for today. As always, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. That really helps these videos out so the more we can learn about blockchain. And if you're as fast at this technology as I am, you want to get your hands dirty, how can you get started today? Well, you can go to my YouTube homepage. You can find my free courses there. They're like Udemy courses, but they're totally free. And if you like those and you want to take the next step, or hey, maybe you want to take a master shortcut entirely, actually become a blockchain master step-by-step from start to finish over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. You don't have to be an expert to get started today. I've helped people with zero coding experience become real-world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So that's all I've got. Until next time, thanks for watching Dapp University.